Good evening, everyone. I'm the Jordude, and welcome back to Collegiate Star League Hearthstone. Tonight is our second broadcast back from the break, so we're glad that you're going to be joining us for tonight. Uh, we're going to be heading out west and have a best of five between University of Washington and University of Santa Cruz. And joining me tonight is Nomo Dogan.
Yeah, what's up, Dude? How's everybody doing tonight? We should have another exciting match just like on Wednesday. We did see a 3-1 series there. Maybe we'll see a 3-0 tonight. Maybe a match that goes to 5 games. Who knows? But I'm excited to get into this first game. We did have a slight delay. Apologize about that, everyone. But it happens. This is first week back, just working out some technical kinks and stuff that happen every so often. We would also like to thank Twitch and Azus ROG for being our sponsors. And with that, I think we are ready to jump into the first game. Of course, tonight is a match between University of Washington and University of California, Santa Cruz. First up, we'll have Thunderfish versus Prowo, or Prowo. Not sure how exactly to pronounce that, but
Yeah. So
we're gonna get these.
started and set up.
Yep. I'm not sure that I know too much about these players, but should definitely be interesting to see what decks they bring to the table. Get that.
I have to tell Prowo to concede his game. He just started on ladder, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's always a sad feeling. But sometimes it happens. The meta has been pretty interesting lately. Seen some new decks pop up. People playing some interesting things. I know people like to play some different decks when they play in tournaments as well. Show off some of their own creations. We'll see if anyone brings that tonight.
Hopefully, we'll see some crazy, innovative decks.
Yeah,
Not just
other
the
than
secret
like
paladins and zoolocks.
an aggro shaman and druid. Good stuff though. Good stuff. I mean, even though some of the decks can get stale sometimes, I'm always excited to see the way that the matches play out. Like some matchups are favorable to certain decks, but it's always fun to see when like a player plays really well and wins because of that, even if it's a difficult matchup. So
Yeah,
once
definitely.
again, we are just getting set up to get into game one here.
Yep, should be any second now. Let's see. Oh, apparently he didn't add him. Got us.
Yeah, I guess sometimes that happens, but
Yeah,
I mean, yep, I don't know. We'll just
they're just trying to add each other right now.
jump into the game soon, no problem. Hmm. Hopefully everyone's had some decent weather after that cold front and harsh snow came through a little while ago. Hopefully,
Oh, what area are you from?
Georgia. So it wasn't really that bad for us. We had a little bit of snow,
I
but
see.
not as bad as some other parts of the states.
Alright, so we're actually getting to game now. It's good. We got Shaman versus Warlock.
hmm So definitely two of the more popular classes these days.
Yep.
Probably opening up with Aggro Shaman. Yep, we do see a Leper Gnome.
And we do see on Thunderfish's side that it will be a Zoolock, confirming with a Knife Juggler and Voidwalker.
hmm I guess when it comes to Zoolock, the main variation we see is whether or not they play Void Caller.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think right now that's on number one NA and in China was a variation of Zoo with Enhancer Meccano and Sea Giants.
Hmm. Yeah, that's always a pretty crazy thing to have in your zoo deck. I mean, Sea Giant has kind of rotated in and out of the deck depending on the meta. But in a meta where most decks are aggro, they don't really have Big Game Hunter. It's definitely a great place to have a card like Sea Giant.
Yeah, definitely. And Sea Giant is really good against either mirrors and in the Secret Paladin matchup.
Yeah,
Just a lot of decks are flooding on the board right now.
right. So we see Thunderfish start off with a Void Walker, and Prowo instantly coins out his Totem Golem, which is going to be able to deal with this really easily. Thunderfish does not have a great response. I mean, you've got your typical turn 2 Knife Juggler, but
Yeah. I really like this play from Prowo because he's able to play the Leopard Gnome on turn 2 anyways and follow a curve.
or if something like a Nerubian Egg came out, he would have had the Earth Shock to just deal with that on the spot.
Yeah.
Yep, Leopard Gnome does not really like to sit across the board from a Knife Juggler. It's a 1 in 3 here, so
Yeah.
it might not get hit, but if it
Let's see what
does,
happens.
that's a big blow.
Even if it misses, I don't think it would be too bad. He's probably going to have to trade into his Totem Golem though.
mhm. Yeah, that definitely looks like a good trade. Do not want to lose the Knife Juggler to the Leopard Gnome.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you have to abuse the Sergeant to kill this Bran. Leaving a Bran on the board is really scary.
Yeah, you never know what your opponent is going to have. I mean, we see the Defender of Argus, which is solid. If there were 2 minions in play, it would be insane. But with 1, it's solid. It's a normal battle cry for Defender of Argus.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he's going. So Prowo chooses to play the Trog instead of Hero Power in here. I like that play.
Yeah, I
Totems
agree.
don't really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, getting this Tunnel Trog onto the board when you might draw something with Overload next turn. I mean, it's a guaranteed 1/3, whereas a Totem might just be an 0/2, and that's not
Yeah.
gonna get much done, like you said. So.
Especially if it's the Healing Totem, when all
Yeah.
the minions have like 1 health anyways.
Yep.
His turn 4 might be a bit awkward, but on the Warlock side, do you think that he has to owl this Trog?
I mean, it doesn't really feel good, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You don't have a way to deal with it right now, so you might as well stop some of this damage, stem the bleeding a little bit that will be coming through.
Yeah, and there's not too much targets that the Shaman has where you would want to silence anyways.
Right.
So we go trade. I think he'll probably try or shock this egg. He doesn't want to deal with it in the future.
Yeah, this looks like a really strong turn.
He chooses
Wow.
not to. Even with
Yeah.
the spell damage totems, I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah. That might have just been maybe he just pressed the end turn button too quickly and maybe didn't realize. But wow, I'm surprised he passed that up.
Yeah, he might get punished here from the Defender Vargas now.
Like,
This egg is getting a almost 2-for-1 trade.
yeah, I mean, now he'll probably kill with, or actually he doesn't want to kill with Earthshock this
Yeah,
turn because
he
this
wants
is your
to
Doomhammer
Doomhammer.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that doesn't line up very well for his curve. We'll see if he decides to do it anyways. Man, that would not feel good. I'm missing out on that.
Might not want to play it now. It just did not look like it. He made a
I know.
mistake last turn.
Right, on the ladder sometimes you're like, oh man, I just messed up.
Yeah, just not do it. I'll take the
I don't
loss
wanna do it
instead.
now. Yeah, I'm not gonna show them that I made that mistake. No.
But besides that, I guess he could Pharaoh Spirit Lava Shock his 4/3. It wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you have to Earthshock, even though you missed out on it last turn. You don't want.
Yeah, you really can't deal with that in the Nerubian.
Yeah, it's just like Earthshock itself is killing off a 4/4, even though the egg already got some pretty great value.
Yeah, just by killing off the abusives there.
Yep. Spell damage doing a little bit of work there, taking out that Flame Imp with the Lava Shock. Also, actually, never mind. He wasn't overloaded at all.
Yeah.
So, For a second, I thought he played an overload spell, but oh well.
The nice thing here is that the Trog is going to be alive this turn, so it's going to get buffed from either the Doomhammer or the Pharaoh Spirits. Would you Pharaoh Spirits or sub your Doomhammer this turn though?
I like getting the Doomhammer out, especially with that Abusive Sergeant draw.
Oh yeah, now he could trade too. Would you trade his... What do you think he's going to trade here?
I think you can clear the board by buffing up. Well, you could buff up the spell damage totem, and then Doomhammer kill the Direwolf, and then you could use your spell damage totem in your face to kill the Dark Iron Dwarf, and then your 3/3 Trog to kill the Argus. This way, he keeps his spell damage totem. He lost his 1/1, and he took 4 extra damage, or 2 extra damage, because he would have hit the Direwolf instead. I guess spell damage can pay off a lot, but...
Oh, that coil is pretty big.
Yeah, that is definitely a nice draw here. We'll see if he can chain it into a 4-drop. Wow.
Oh! Implosion.
An implosion. Yeah, if there's any card for 4 that could turn the tide of this game, that is one of them.
Well, it's not 4-plosion this time. It's going to be a 2-plosion.
Yeah, still solid though. Still solid.
These Pharaohs are going to be very strong too.
Yeah,
Just the taunt totem again.
Taunt Totem is also nice. Lava Burst, that helps a little bit. You know, if Thunderfish draws some mid-range minion, you could also just have it for flexible damage to face.
And Thunderfish has to keep tapping here to keep up and try to develop a board. Otherwise, he's just going to take too much damage from the minions. So the tapping is pretty relevant when the Shaman is just going to draw a bunch of burn spells.
Yeah, it's definitely necessary. Even though he's starting to get low, there's no way he's gonna win this game if he stops tapping. He needs to get the board back somehow.
Yeah, he really wants to get a Doom Guard or another Argus to stop the Doomhammer hits.
Yep, for sure. An Ancestral Knowledge now drawn for Prowa. I think that's probably one of the better draws at this point, later in the game.
For sure. Another one. You probably use the other one too, I imagine.
Yeah, it seems like a fine place to use it. You can also play the Crackle. Might as well go face, I think. You're starting to get your opponent so low. You've got a Lava Burst, and you're going to have 2 other cards to go along with it. Chooses to Totem instead.
That ends up being a pretty good totem too.
Yeah, I think that was actually the best one there, healing up these.
It makes it really awkward, so that Direwolf could have killed both of his Spirit Wolves. But instead, he can't clear the board anymore.
Yeah, but either way, I think the deal is sealed here for Prow. He's got the Lava Burst and the Doomhammer, which is going to be a lot of damage. Thunderfish is going to need to tap into something insane right
what
now.
What can he draw that can get him out of this?
I don't really know. Even if
he tapped into Argus, he could hope that there's no burn spells in the Shaman hand.
Yeah, Argus would probably be the best thing to tap into.
Yeah, so he probably just has to tap and see what he gets. There's the Argus.
Okay, I mean, it's an Argus, but...
So on their side, they're praying.
Yeah. We know Lava Burst is in the hand, but Thunderfish is just going on what he knows, playing it out until the end.
Yep.
I mean, there's a chance he could win this game, but... oh well. So yeah, we are going to see Prowo take the first game for the University of California Banana Slugs. So as we know, this format is best of 5. Once a class is played, your team cannot play that class again. Win or lose, doesn't matter. So now that Shaman has been played for University of California, they can no longer play it. Now that Warlock has been played for University of Washington, they can no longer play that class. So we'll see what these next 2 players bring out here. Some Druid is definitely possible. I think Druid is one of the better decks at the moment. Mid-range combo Druid has been one of the best decks for a while. So we'll get these players jump into this next game in just a second.
Yep, we'll be right back.
scream that only I'll be saved. They toss off the line, but I just let it float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Float away, float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away.
Hey guys, we are back with Game 2 between Wandering Pen and Maelstrom. While we're back, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors again. Twitch, having being affiliated with Twitch, shouting us out, and Aces ROG for sponsoring the event and being able to fund for the trip to DreamHack that you could win by winning in this series or in the Swiss series.
Yeah, it should be pretty sick. The top teams will be going to DreamHack Austin. So yeah, we definitely like to thank Twitch and Azus ROG for that. But we are into game 2 here. We've got Maelstrom on Warrior and Wandering Pen on Paladin. The classic secret Paladin. I think we can call it a classic at this point. It's been around for a while now, ever since Mysterious Challenger became known as such a powerhouse card.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Looks like Maelstrom is on Patron Warrior because of the Dread Corsair.
Yeah, we do see the Dread Corsair in the hand, which is not very common in the Control Warrior decks. And we know that Patron Warrior has been a lot more popular over Control Warrior right now, recently. On the Secret Paladin side, it looks like he has a lot of secrets in his hand, so this could be an issue for the Secret Paladin.
Yeah, even though that's the namesake of the deck, like the secrets, you really don't want to draw them. You just want to draw your early game, and then in the mid game you draw your Mysterious Challenger to put the secrets into play for you. But yeah, it's a little awkward so far. I mean, a 5/4 Divine Shield minion isn't too bad for turn 2/turn 3, but
Yeah.
still, he could run out of steam pretty quickly if this keeps up, but Muster for Battle is a nice draw here.
Yeah, this is going to be very strong if the Warrior doesn't have a good way to remove it. However, since it is Patron Warrior, we do know that he runs a lot of Whirlwind effects, so the Deathbite Whirlwinds, normal Whirlwind, he might be playing Unstable Ghoul.
Yeah, for sure, there are a lot of ways that a Warrior could deal with all these 1 health minions, but Maelstrom doesn't have one yet. Maybe he'll draw into something. Chooses to attack face with the Elight's Justice there. I think that's actually an interesting decision whether or not to hit the Armor Smith.
Yeah, because this way the Armor Smith is going to live through a Whirlwind.
But if he doesn't have the Whirlwind, this could kind of pay off. I mean, it's going to end up just killing a 1/1 and then dying to the weapon anyways, I think. But
Yeah.
depending on how things went there, could have made an impact.
Maelstrom's thinking about using the War Axe to kill 1/1 here. Chooses not to. I think I would agree with that play.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Since you can't kill both,
Yeah.
yeah, like if there was just one, I think you would kill it off to play around Blessing of Kings. But since there's 2, that's not really an option. So definitely made sense the way he played that there.
Yeah, especially because he doesn't have any more weapons in his hand. He wants to try to get value off that 3 attack.
Right. So now Battle Rage number 2 drawn for Maelstrom. He has a Grim Patron, but you don't really want to play that right now. Armor Smith is okay here. This 5/5 is a little bit scary. Would like to see it get executed, but
It's going to be a bit awkward to use the execute though. He's going to have to either use his face or the Crotas. Chooses to use probably the face because he wants to draw an extra card off the Battle Rage here.
yeah, using the
Rage is a good
face.
draw.
Yep, it keeps his Cruel Task in play as well, which can gain him, I guess, another point of armor. It's going to die to the Light's Justice anyway. So I think that adds up to, like 5 damage instead of taking I don't know, it's a little weird, but I think it might have been better to trade the Cruel Taskmaster because you don't take the damage.
That's
Because
true. But
this Cruel Task is
he
gonna
did
die to the
start
weapon.
off with double armor smith, so it might be he might figure that he's got a lot of life anyways. He's going to have a bit of time.
Yeah.
Try to value his minions more. This turn is very awkward for him because he can't play both the patron and the ghoul. If he was able to play both, it would be a pretty good turn, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be a solid play, but you don't want to play a 3/3 Grim Patron into a Sludge Belcher. And since he has Unstable Ghoul, we might just see him play that and armor up, and then Doctor Boom next turn. And well, it's kind of a tough turn here.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think that last turn, on turn 5, he might have been able to get away with playing patron because it's hard for paladins to just deal with the 3/3 body on its own unless they have a big board, and because he didn't have a board, the patron might have been able to stick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But he's going for a patron in a rage here, and this is fine because he knows that on turn 6 the paladin just wants to play challenger, and then that's not dealing with the patrons here.
Yep. And man, Wandering Pen, he's got to be shaking his head right about now as he draws another secret. On the turn, he's about to play as Mysterious Challenger. Like, I think this Challenger's only going to put 2 secrets into play, maybe 3. He's already drawn so many of them.
Yeah, and especially if he's just playing one redemption too. He pretty much drew all of his 1-of secrets, so he's just going to get an Avenge and Noble Sack, I guess.
Yeah, I get, like, that's still some decent value. Wow, he's going to play Redemption instead?
Trying to value his voucher, I guess.
So I think Maelstrom will definitely think to play around the Noble Sacrifice here. He'll attack with Armor Smith first.
Yeah.
And then I guess Patron can. But wait, the Noble Sacrifice will just come back to life from the Redemption.
Yeah.
An interesting choice here from Wandering Penny. Maybe he's hoping an Execute will get played first, and then the Sludge Belcher would come back to life off of that. But even then, there's a Grim Patron in play. You don't really want the Ooze. Yeah, this is definitely a problematic board, no matter how you slice it for a Wandering Pen. Like we were saying, it was rough how he drew those secrets in the first place, but choosing not to play the Mysterious Challenger was interesting.
Yeah, because now he increases his chance of drawing more secrets by not pulling them out.
Yep.
But I guess here maybe he wants that 2/1 body just so he could kill the patrons off. Like the damage patrons.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it can deal with this 5/2. But wow, Unstable Ghoul. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to deal with all these patrons. Oh man, they're just so brutal for Secret Paladin. Once Patron does get a lot of Grim Patrons on board, it's just like, how do you deal with them? There's no equality combo in these decks usually. I mean, rarely people will play them, but
Yeah. And he only pulls 1 secret off the challenger.
man, that is a really sad Mysterious Challenger right now. Uh, you just think he rides on his horse all the way onto this battlefield, and he only brings 1 secret forth, to his king. Like, sorry for letting you down.
That's how Mysterious Challenger should be.
Nobody knows who he is, but I mean, he failed here. He failed his job. All he had to do was bring secrets.
So right now he's got a Competitive Spirit and a Venge up. He's going to bounce off another patron. So Maelstrom could just clear the board and have a couple patrons and a huge Frothing. And that's perfectly fine considering how the Secret Paladin only has 1 more card in his hand. And that card's a Divine Favor, which will only draw at most maybe 2 cards.
Yeah. Yeah, Wandering Penny is definitely in dire straits right here. I mean, you've got a 9/8 Mysterious Challenger, but it looks like Maelstrom's just gonna take care of that. Like, because these patrons are 1 health anyway. You're gonna have plenty of damage to finish off your opponent next turn with this Sprouting Berserker. Might as well take your time, just clear the board.
And back up to 27 life too.
Yeah,
Those double armored smiths put in work.
yeah, for sure. And the second Mysterious Challenger is actually the saddest Mysterious Challenger. Does not pull any secrets from the deck. It is just a worse Boulder Fist Ogre. Sad times here for Secret Paladin. I mean, this isn't really a matchup that you want to go into most of the time. So
Exactly.
if you get a really aggressive start, then it can be good for the Secret Paladin. But
Yeah, usually the Secret Paladin needs to get the Divine Shields up, buffed by Avenge and buff spells, and just curve into Challenger, Tyrion, Boom Tyrion, things like that. And normally the Green Patron has a hard time to win. But other than that, usually I find that Green Patron can usually just take the matchup.
yep, I agree. So with that, the series is tied up now, 1-1. And next up, we're going to have Shadow Flare versus Add-on. We'll get that match ready for you in just a sec. And keep in mind that University of Washington has already played their Warlock and their Warrior, and University of California has played their Shaman and their Paladin. So once a class is played by your school, you cannot play that class again. So we'll see what other variety these players are ready to show off here. If anyone has any special creations too, it'd be nice to see some Rogue. We didn't see any Rogue
Oh boy.
on Wednesday. I mean, Rogue is a very skill-intensive class these days. I don't see many people play it unless they were some die-hard Rogue players back in the day, but
I've seen a couple of rogues on ladder the other day.
yeah, I mean, the
They
people
didn't
who
win, but it's nice to see them.
Yeah, true. So I'm gonna try to get these players ready.
Yep. I need to get add-on to add me.
Yeah. Let me see.
In the meantime, I'll play some Monster Cat music.
Tell you a story about you and me. Stuck on the water, the waves are getting deep. They scream that only I can breathe. They toss out the mask, but it's a little out of reach. Yeah, I let it float away. I let it float away. I let it float away. Float away, float away. Yeah, I let it float away. I let it float away. I let it float away. There isn't any more to say. If you're not with me, I'd rather not be saved. There's no decision to be made. If you're not with me, I'll just let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. Float away, float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away.
Alright, so it looks like our next match is starting up very soon. We got Wizard Larry versus Shadow Flare.
Yep, Wizard Larry is actually subbing in for another player who couldn't make it, so
So we can tell him to start.
alrighty. So once again, it's Shadow Flare 789 representing University of Washington, and Wizard Larry representing the University of California. The series is tied up 1-1. Let's see who can take the advantage to their side of the field. this game.
We got Mage versus Paladin. Usually I would say the Mage is favored.
Oh yeah,
And-
I agree.
And we're seeing it's going to be a Freeze Mage because of the Blizzard. And it looks like it's going to be a Secret Paladin for Shadow Flare from the Avenge.
Yeah, especially since it's Freeze Mage. I mean, sometimes the Secret Paladin can get away with a win here, but I think in general it favors the Freeze Mage. We did see this same matchup on Wednesday, and the Freeze Mage took it there, so we'll see if the Secret Paladin can take it from Shadow Flare. If he has any special tech cards in there, maybe.
A Kazan Mystic. Usually it's
Oh, yeah,
hard
that'd
for
be
the
brutal.
Usually it's hard for the Secret Paladin though because they flood their board so hard, and then once you just freeze it when they have a full board, they just can't do anything.
Yeah. And that is the worst feeling, but usually an experienced player in this matchup will not fill their board unless they absolutely have to,
Yeah.
because of the fear of like a Frost Nova Doomsayer combo and just having to skip out on a whole turn and getting your board completely cleared. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth having a 1/1 recruit when they could have that spot open for, say, a Lotheb. If they play Lotheb.
Yeah, I will say though, this is a pretty bad start for Wizard Larry as the Freeze Mage. There's no card draw in his hand. He's got 3 of his most expensive cards, and Ice Block isn't the secret you want to play first. Usually you want to get your barriers up, get that armor good
Yeah.
to go. And,
Well, at least against Paladin it's a bit nice because they don't have burn damage from hand, other than maybe the one of Consecrate. So the ice barriers will probably get the armor up eventually if he gets to draw them.
yeah, that's true. Man, I guess you just gotta skip a turn here. Taking a risk by pinging off one of the 1/1s, and
Oh yeah.
it's not Avenge, so it works out. It also hedges a little bit against Competitive Spirit to kill off a 1/1, because that's one less dude getting buffed. But
Yeah, maybe he figured that he might have set the secret because he did play the muster. Or did he play that secret on turn 1 into Creeper?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was turn 1 secret, so
Okay.
it couldn't have been Competitive Spirit,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, that's a little risky still.
Maybe
taking
he was
out
trying to check if it was Redemption. Because if he played Redemption into Haunted Creeper, it would kind of make sense in that way.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense. Even though it's a little risky, the odds are that it won't be an Avenge. Like, because you could play Noble Sacrifice turn 1, you could play, Redemption, especially with Haunted Creeper, you'd want to play Redemption, so yeah, it seems fine to ping off 1/1 there.
It's going to be interesting if Shadow Flare runs Repentance in his secret lineup, because that's going to definitely make a lot of a difference if he could set up a Repentance on the turn where Wizard Larry might want to play a Doomsayer. Because I know some people have been cutting Repentance from their secret lineups.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of it lately. But yeah, some people still do play it. Man, still no card draw for Wizard Larry.
At least
As
he
a
picked up
Freeze
the
Mage
Frost
player.
Nova, which is going to be nice. It's going to stall
Yeah.
out a turn, let him set up stuff.
Yeah, it's a great way to stall. But as a Freeze Mage player, I feel so bad if it's like turn 5 and I still haven't drawn any cards. Like if I haven't cycled at all, because you just want to keep cycling so you can get to your combos, get to your board clears, thin out your deck a lot. You don't really have too much else going on in the early game. Like you don't want to play your Frostbolt or your Ice Lance because that's your kill. That's your lethal damage. So. And a coin Mysterious Challenger is quite a daunting play here from Shadow Flare. It's going to fill his board, but I mean, it's still really strong. How can you pass that up? Like coin Mysterious Challenger.
Yeah, and maybe he's getting a read from Wizard Larry that he's just been pinging every turn. Maybe he doesn't have anything. Maybe he's just holding on to a bunch of burn.
Yeah. This is a smart move by Wizard there, I think. Just pinging off that Haunted Creeper while the board is full. You get the Avenge up, whatever. You've got Flame Strike ready for next turn, so
Yeah,
setting
I
it
really
up.
like this play.
Yep. Yeah,
So
looks
even
good.
after Competitive Spirit, he's going to be able to Flame Strike this entire board, and
Yep.
and Shadow Flare can't do anything this turn. Maybe
Yeah,
he
puts-
could play a Cog Hammer, or some secrets.
Yeah, I would like to see the Coghammer come down here, I think, since you really can't do anything else. I mean,
Yeah.
Blessing of Kings, I don't really think you want to do that when you're not going to be attacking immediately.
Yeah.
Uh,
And he might
so,
as well dump at least. Oh, I guess the Noble Sack he can't play. He might as well just dump the. Would you dump Redemption here so he could lower his cards for when he draws Divine Favor?
yeah, I think you might as well play the Redemption. Like, you can't really force a minion to get redemption like you would in other matchups because against Freeze Mage, usually it's just a lot of minions dying at once.
Yeah.
Sometimes in other matchups you play redemption specifically with a certain minion that has a death rattle, but he is gonna go with the Blessing of Kings on the Mysterious Challenger.
This is a pretty
You know that.
good read because now he can't get Flame Strike, and I think he saw that Larry was trying to set up his Flame Strike there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely a great play there by Shadow Flare. Keeps this massive threat on the board. Can't pop the Ice Block this turn, but Dr. Boom is one of the scariest cards, I think, for Freeze Mage because those Boom Bots are just so pesky.
Yeah, now he won't be able to use his Blizzard because he's most
Yeah.
likely going to die. He could play the Mad Scientist and then Blizzard, and maybe the Boombots won't kill him.
That's quite a risk to take, but he might just have to do it here. Yeah, I don't really know if he has many options at this point. I mean,
I think
either
he has
way,
I think he has to do the gamble here.
yep. Yeah, either
Because
way.
if he does live next turn, he's able to play like the Antonidas and Frostbolt or Alexstrasza himself. He's going to have a
Right.
lot more time if he could make it through this turn.
This is a key turn here. Looks like he did click the end turn button. So little spoiler, he doesn't die.
Little
Okay.
foresight. Boombots hit the wrong target. If the Boombot that hit the Mad Scientist for 4 hit his face, it would have been over at the spot.
Yep. But unfortunately, it didn't. Fortunately for Wizard Larry, though, he still got both his secrets up. He's actually in a reasonably comfortable spot. I mean, this isn't where you want to be, but it's not like he's, dead this next turn or whatever. He at least has another turn after this one. So
And because it's a Paladin, he's going to have to attack and set off that ice barrier.
yeah, there isn't a way for Paladin to get around that. It's just your minions have to kill your opponent. So we'll see if Wizard Larry draws the burn he needs to just Alexstrasza his opponent. I mean, if you draw the other Fireball here, I think Alexstraszaing Shadow Flare would be the way to go.
Yeah. Because Secret Paladin generally doesn't run any heal.
Yeah. Well, you could take another gamble here. You just got to decide his odds on winning with both ways. I mean, there's 17 cards left in his deck. It's 1 out of 17 chance that he draws the other Fireball next turn.
Oh man.
He could also Acolyte of Pain and ping it and maybe draw a Frost Nova.
He could play the Antonidas and use the Frost Bolt to cycle a Fireball. And then that way he would live a turn and have the Antonidas on the board.
I think this play actually makes sense as well. Even though a card like Blessing of Kings or True Silver Champion could pop the block this turn, if Shadow Flare doesn't have one of those cards and your block stays up, then this is going to put Wizard Larry in a pretty good spot. But,
You can use the
Using
Frost
the-
Bolt just for the freeze.
yeah.
Interesting.
Oh man, and a Lothab for Shadow Flare now. I think he'll probably hold on to that until the key moment. Maybe he'll use it here. It looks like he's thinking about it. Okay, yeah, I like holding on to it.
Yeah, for sure. He wants to be able to use it where he can lock out his opponent. Usually the best times to play Lothab is early on like turn 6 or 7 where they can't play any spells at all. Or right after the Alexstrasza so you don't die. Or after you pop the ice block and then
Yeah.
forcing them to play an 8 mana secret.
Yeah, Alexstrasza does come down, put Wizard Larry back up to 20 health now, but Is 20 gonna be enough against all this stuff that Shadow Flare has? I mean, along with the Lotheb.
Yeah, because Wizard Larry still has to kill the Paladin. He can't just survive forever.
Yep. He's
He's-
already used a bit of his burn as well. An Ice Lance, a Frostbolt, and a Fireball down the drain. Where's he gonna find this damage? I mean, he's got to survive, and he's got to find the damage to kill his opponent. I think that's a lot to ask right now, but we'll see if Wizard Larry can pull it off.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to find that reach off of the Antonidas here, because what's left in the Freeze Mage is about one Frostball, one Ice Lance is 7, a Pyroblast 17, and one more Fireball is 23. So just from the pure burn, he doesn't have enough to kill the Paladin anymore. So the Antonidas actually has to get more Fireballs off.
Yeah, Antonidas does seem like it's gonna have to be the key factor in this victory. But I mean, he's just gotta survive right now. Can he even do that? Ice block's in play, but I mean, there's another ice block in hand, I guess. So that's at least a couple turns you get to cycle through.
Doomsayer is a good one. He could try to attack with the Alexstrasza and have the Noble Sacrifice from the Juggler hit the Acolyte for another card. But stay.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that before playing the other guys.
Yeah, because he might
there's a
draw
higher
into a
chance.
Frost Nova.
Yeah. But alright. I mean, redemption on a 2-1 is like one of the best one of the best things that Wizard would like to see it on, but I don't know that it's gonna matter too much. Ice block in play, ice block in hand. This game's pretty intense, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot closer than what I'm used to seeing.
I mean, the game on Wednesday as well was very, very one-sided in the Freeze Mage's favor, but
Yeah. Normally
we were
you just
talking
see
about
the
earlier.
Paladin with a frozen board, can't do anything, and then the Mage just burns him off. But here we're actually
Yeah.
having a lot of interaction.
yeah, I think a lot of this stems off from the fact that Wizard Larry didn't have any card draw at the start of the game, and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
just skipping a lot of turns, just doing nothing, so... I mean,
Yeah,
he was
his
pinging, but... Yeah.
His hand was mainly big minions and burn spells, and he had to use the burn spells to clear, which is not typically what you want to be doing.
Yeah,
Normally
it
you want
feels
to get
really
Doomsayers
bad.
off. Yeah, he's just drawing his Doomsayers now, which he would have wanted a lot sooner.
Wow, Knife Juggler makes things kind of awkward. I mean, I guess you wouldn't really kill off Sludge Belcher or Haunted Creeper on your opponent's turn, but I don't know, maybe there's some interaction that'll pop up, but...
Now we get the
Lotheb.
Lotheb down.
A very expensive ice block now for Wizard Larry. And Alex Strauss is out of the equation. Both ice blocks are out of the equation. I'm trying to think of a way out here for him, but I just can't at this point. I mean,
Yeah, even if the Doomsayer is able to clear his board after the Death Rattles, he still has to
Oh.
face the Ashbringer too.
so okay, here's actually a chance. Frost Nova Doomsayer, and then you freeze your opponent's face with Ice Lance, and then your opponent's Pouted Shredder gets a Doomsayer, and then
Yeah,
that
that's what I was
clears their
thinking
board
too.
again.
And then he could play Antonidas and top deck of Ice Barrier, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna have to survive Ashbringer after that.
And this is assuming that the Doomsayer comes out of the Shredder.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, it looks like he's thinking about Archmage Frost Nova. You also have to consider that line here, but there's no ice blocks to draw into. Maybe a Blizzard? Could he find his way out with that?
Okay, he's going for the Emperor instead. I guess this way he has a chance of living another turn.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's going to have to draw into a board clear and health. Which I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, this game has just been going downhill. And
Juggler
yeah,
defends it for
the
him.
Knife Juggler just hit space, yeah. That was pretty likely to happen there. So that is going to be the game going over to Shadow Flare.
Wow. a shot. Secret Paladin takes it.
Over Freeze Mage. Yeah, wow. Uh, interesting. I mean, it's definitely possible, like we are talking about, when the Paladin has a nice start. The Lothep's helpful there. I don't think it was very important to the win, but maybe in a closer game it would have been more important. But yeah, I mean, really rough start for Wizard Larry, and Shadow Flare capitalized on it, took the win for his team.
Yeah, definitely a good play by the Secret Paladin. Even though the Lothep didn't seem like it was super significant in that matchup, it did block out a lot of possibilities that Wizard Larry could have done. Like if he could have maybe had the Doomsayer, Frost Nova, and set up the Secret, and then follow it up by the Antonitis and another Secret, and just go off from there.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was interesting. Like I was saying, 2-1 lead for University of Washington, and sorry, I was just trying to get something cleared up here between some of the players. We're gonna get ready to start this next match in a little bit. Yep.
So we will have Kazi from Santa Cruz versus Spyro from Washington in just a moment. Once again, I want to shout out our sponsors, Twitch and Aces ROG, for making all of this possible. Definitely go check them out. Also, CSL Hearth. For the CSL, we actually got a new Twitter. Typically, it was CSL League, but now we have our own CSL Hearthstone Twitter, so definitely go check that out and give us a follow, send us some tweets. And yeah, we'll just be right back with Game 4 in just a moment. Stay tuned. Alright, it looks like we are about to get into Game 4 now. Spiral from University of Washington versus Kazi from University of Santa Cruz. And we have Washington in the lead right now of the series, 2-1, so this is match point. Then we get into Spiral's hand. So on Kazi's side, he's got an Innervate and a Darnassus and a Shade and a Drake. So his hand is actually really good. It's going to curve really well in this matchup. On the other side, unfortunately for Spiral, he's got Living Roots, which is nice on turn 1. However, the rest of his hand's got 2 7-drops and a 6-drop without any ramp, so it's going to be really rough for him.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping into this match too.
The very skillful matchup. We'll see who's the better player in this game.
Hey, well, I mean, sometimes it does really add up towards the end, some of the earlier decisions and stuff, but, I mean, sometimes one guy gets a Wild Growth, Innervate into turn 3 Theracin, and, you know, that's game, but that doesn't always happen.
Oh, Spiral with the clutch Innervate. This is going to help him out on at least turn 5, or maybe if he draws into something where he could curve out a bit nicer. But for now, he's just going to have to Hero Power Pass. Do you think Kazi here will unveil the Shade to try to protect his Darnassus from the board? Or is he just going to keep the Shade alive and force Spiral to Hero Power again and not let him play anything? Spiral could just... Kazi might be afraid of Spiral having a Wild Growth though, which might encourage him to keep the Shade stealth, I would imagine. Either way, he's going to have to force Spiral to deal with this Darnassus, which would take up his entire turn. Oh, instead he's going to Hero Power down the sapling. I actually like this play a lot because turn 3 for Druids is normally awkward unless they have the Shade. They're normally going to use it as a Hero Power or a Wrath turn. But for Spiral, he does have this Innervate, so he can Innervate a Drake here, try to get some initiative on the board. And Kazi doesn't really have a play next turn unless he coins out 4-drop or plays a Darnassus.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it prevents that trade from happening with the Darnassus. We have seen a lot of people cut Darnassus from their list as well these days, specifically because, you know, it can just die like that. See, like, Kazi had it on turn 2. He didn't even end up playing it, so it's definitely understandable why some people cut it from the list, but...
Yeah, and it's just a really bad top deck in the late game. A lot of people have been cutting the Darnassus for the second Living Roots, which is a bit more flexible throughout the game. It's good on turn 1, you can use it as removal with the Azure Drake for 3 damage. It's just a lot of possibilities here. For Kazi, he could trade the Shade here and maybe play the Darnassus, try to get him out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like Darnassus is okay. Like, to just fill in this turn.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have much else to do. Like, you don't really want to coin a Keeper there, so...
And he doesn't have to trade, I guess, with the Shade, because now he could just play the Keeper next turn to kill off the Azure Drake. But Spiral did pick up a Wrath here, so he's going to be able to pick up... draw 1 card and Wrath for 2. Curve pretty nicely here.
Yep. Yeah, seems pretty solid for Spiral at this point. I think Kazi's going to need like a strong Sylvanas later in this game. As of right now,
Yeah.
I mean, he has the shade, which is big. He could kill off the Azure Drake, but I don't know. He's the one taking the sustained damage right now. Like he's at 21, his opponent's at 30, and those life totals matter a lot in this matchup once you get towards the end game combos with Savage Roar and stuff like that. So
It's actually really interesting too because Kazi was the one with a very good curve in the early game, while Spyro had 2 7 drops and Force of Nature. But Spyro's the one that seems to be in the lead right now. Kazi does get the initiative back just by dropping his Azure Drake on an open board, which is very nice. Savage Combatant, that's something I haven't seen in a while.
yeah, I mean, it used to be really popular, especially with like when it first came out and stuff, and people are like, "Wow, this card is so strong." Like it is pretty good. I think it has its certain places where it's better, like certain metas where it's better, but
Yeah.
I
think
kinda like
some
to see
people
it.
have been. I've seen people cut Emperor Thorzen or the Sylvanas for Savage Combatant, but he does have the Sylvanas in his deck, so I'm interested to see what cards he cut for it. Because he was playing Darnassus as well.
Yep. Um,
So for Spyro here, he did pick up the Lotheb, which I think might be the best play, because the Shredder might just die from things like Wrath. So with the Lotheb, it forces... The Lotheb was most likely going to stick through this turn, or at least trade into the Drake and get something more.
yeah. I mean, Lotheb seems like fine play here. Like Shredder there is all right. You could save Lotheb for a later turn, but yeah, just throwing out a 5/5. Pretty solid.
And it's actually really hard for Kazi to deal with it. He can't kill the Lotheb this turn, so he's just going to have to play minion and go face. You think about the Savage Combatant, that way he gets Savage Combatant and Hero Power. Then he could consider trading. Or he could just drop the Druid's Claw in taunt mode, which is pretty annoying for the Lotheb because the Lotheb can't kill it. And then he does have the swipe on the back end that could clean up the one health Lotheb after.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that seemed alright there.
We do reach turn 7 mana for Spyro, and he's got 3 7 mana cards in his hand, so he's pretty happy about that. Is it a turn where you would want to drop Dr. Boom though? Because if he plays Dr. Boom, he still can't kill the Druid Claw. He's going to have 4 minions on the board, which activates Mind Control tech that a lot of people have been playing nowadays.
I mean, is Mind Control Tech popular these days? I guess some people still play it. It used to be really popular.
I think it's pretty popular in Druids. They cut one of the shades for empty tech.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that would definitely make sense, especially with like the aggro. It helps against Secret Paladin too, and specifically against Dr. Boom. If you don't have a BGH, it can sometimes get you out of some tough situations.
Definitely. Now Kazi has a choice. He could use the swipe here, which could kill the Lotheb and the Boombots. It's a bit awkward to clean up the Dr. Boom though. But if he doesn't clean up board, he might be afraid of just completely losing his board from the Boom and the Boombots. If he just plays a minion, he could play Sylvanas, but then it's a bit off curve. So it looks like he's going for the swipe here. The Boombots didn't look like it killed anything. Yeah, those were pretty poor Boombots. So he could coin out the Savage Combatant, or he could Hero Power to kill off the Boom. It looks like he decides to keep the taunt over the Drake. Doesn't have any cards in his hand that would use the spell power anyway, so he values the taunt more. He does go down to 13, so he is in combo range, and we do see Spyro with the nearly drawn Savage Roar and Force of Nature combo in his hand now.
Yeah, Force of Nature combo is definitely the scary thing about Druids these days, and has been the terror of Hearthstone for like the past year or two. This combo has just been around for a while. I mean, at one point people were really fed up with it, but I think some people, I mean, sure, some people are still fed up with it, but I think a lot of people have kind of gotten over it and
Yeah, I mean,
accepted its existence.
without the combo, what would Druid really have? They have the mana growth things, but then that's not. It's almost like Druid has to have the mana growth to keep up, otherwise it just wouldn't be a deck. So without the combo, Druid I don't think would be that much played as a class.
Yeah,
He could drop double
yeah.
Shredder here and try to set up a good combo turn because the two Shredders are really sticky. However, if he does play double Shredder, he might be afraid of the coin combo just killing him. And that's what he considered, so instead of playing the second Shredder, he hero powered, so he's 1 damage off of coin combo.
Hmm.
What do you think of that play? Do you think playing around the combo was better than setting up the win with double Shredder?
I think in general it's usually better to set up your own win because you know you have your win. You don't know if they have the combo.
Mhm.
You know, like you play to win, not play to not lose.
Yeah.
It's something that goes around a lot in card games like this. And yeah, so I would prefer to just go for the play to win when you know almost for sure that you would win off of it.
Yeah, because he knows he does have the combo next turn, and the Shredders would probably stick. Because this 4/4 taunt might just get in the way if he has a way to remove the Shredder. And then he's just going to be behind on board for the rest of the game.
Time waits for no one.
Kazi's thinking really hard here. He might go for the heal of the Ancient Lore, just to protect himself even more from the combo. So now Spyro is feeling a little bit of regret um, seeing that Kazi did have to heal, and he's now just behind on board. He does get to catch up though with a swipe, which is going to clean up with the Shredder trade, and he gets to develop his Shredder again. So he is now in the winning position again, which is very good for him.
Yep. Ship's Cannon, a lovely little card to have. Doubtful that Spiral has any pirate synergy in his deck, but who knows, man? Who knows?
Maybe Sky Captain Craig is just going to come out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, that would probably just make my night, you know? Like Sky Captain Crag in a Druid deck. With synergy with Pirate's Cannon that came out of a piloted shredder. That's quality stuff right there. That's planning ahead, you know?
Well, if the Shredder does die, it might spawn another pirate, like the 2/3 pirate, and then it would trigger the ship's cannon.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's just going to be game for Kazi here. Spiral does have the combo. So the combo on its own is 14 plus an additional 4 plus 2 on the Shredder. So that's 20 damage total. It's going to close it out and close out the rest of the series for University of Washington 3-1.
Yeah, well played by them. Another 3-1 series just like we saw on Wednesday. Druid to close it out. I mean, both players bringing out the Druid. Super popular deck these days and super strong deck. I mean, definitely worth being popular. So yeah, pretty solid match there. What do you think overall, Jordy?
Yeah, definitely that was that was a pretty good series. I do think there was a couple plays that I would have done differently, but hey, what am I to say? Because I am looking over both players' hands, so it's definitely a lot easier for us to make the right calls when we have the perfect information.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
overall, good
I mean,
stuff.
I agree. I agree. So once again, that was University of Washington taking it 3-1, right?
Yep.
Yep. So we would like to thank you guys for watching, and we will be back on Wednesday. So we would like to thank Twitch and Azus ROG, our sponsors. Twitch sponsors and features our matches weekly. We're proud to be affiliated with the largest gaming stream provider in the world. Asus is the presenting sponsor of the CSL this year. Asus makes some of the world's best gaming PCs, laptops, and monitors. Asus is funding this season's travel to DreamHack in our prize pool for the year. Be sure to follow their social medias like Asus or excuse me, at Azus_ROG, and thank them for sponsoring the CSL.
Yep. And
Of course, yeah, go ahead.
and I was going to say, don't forget to check out CSL Hearthstone on Twitter and on Facebook, Collegiate Hearthstone. What else were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say if anyone misses any matches, they can check out our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/CStarLeague. Under the CSGO section, you can find all broadcasted matches. StarCraft 2 and Hearthstone are back in action. Of course, you can catch StarCraft 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Star League 2. While you can catch us on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific on C-Star League and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific on C-Star League 2. For CSGO, you can find all the action on Wednesdays at C-Star League 2 at 7 p.m. Pacific and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Pacific on C-Star League. So once again, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday with more Collegiate Hearthstone. Don't forget as well, tomorrow on C-Star League we'll have CSGO at 4 p.m. Pacific. Give those channels a follow. And as of course, I am at Root Nomodogan on Twitter. And Jordude, any plugs or anything else you want to say?
Yeah, if you guys want to find me, I am at COL__ the Jordude on Twitter. So you could just hit me a follow. Keep up with my life. And yeah, that's about it for tonight. Thank you for coming and streaming and casting with me, Nomo.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate having you tonight. It was fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks for watching, everyone.
Have a good night.